Good evening, everybody. And here we're back again at the Wanch and Hong Kong Rocks live radio show. Tonight it's episode number 23. And with us, we have again, as usual, John. And special guest tonight is Paul Thompson from many, many bands and different activities. Tom,
That sounds good.
say
I
hi,
like
and
that.
tell us what you're doing.
Hi, yeah, nice to be on here. It's my first time coming on the show, and it's great to see John, great to see Oliver, and thanks for inviting me. Excited to play some music that I've played on, and some music I'm really proud of, and some great recording from you, Oliver, and also some of the other shows that I've managed to be a part of by bringing the bands over, or just kind of music I love as well.
Very cool. So you have played in several bands, right? The Sideburns, the Red Stripes. Any others
Mhm.
that I missed?
Well, those are I would say the main two. I think the Red Stripes is the one that I'm kind of known the most for all the gigs we've done and packing the Wanch out, and just the band pack the Wanch out. We don't need a crowd, right? There's so many of us. And the
Yeah.
Sideburns with Ziad and Phil, of course, who's also many bands. I mean, I can't count how many bands Phil's been in. And I've done other projects with Phil, and I've played the Wanch in kind of some cover bands before. But yeah, those are the main two, I would say.
Very cool. But you've also
Yeah,
been bringing bands to Hong Kong that you don't play in. Let us know a bit about that.
yeah. I think I mean, when you're a musician, you get a lot of enjoyment about being on stage, and I think John, probably the same for you. You get just as much buzz from seeing musicians play and giving people an opportunity to play. And I had the chance to bring over. I think the first band was a rockabilly band from Cambodia, and it was great to see him. Joe Ridley, he was called. It was great to see him over,
Yeah, that's
and
right.
just really embracing coming. And then from there, I started a small reggae ska festival with mutual like-minded friends, and we started to bring bands over from Taiwan, like Skarioki and Singapore, and give them opportunities to play and us to learn from them. And then that kind of grew into a bigger festival and getting bigger names. And then I met another Oliver, and we brought some punk bands over. I think the highlight of that was the Professionals featuring Paul Cook from the Sex Pistols, is one of my favorite drummers. It was great to see him in Hong Kong, and a lot of people were really enjoyed that gig. And it kind of grew from there, and it was kind of going really well. And then obviously we had the pandemic, and then it didn't happen anymore. But I really enjoyed from that first experience bringing over bands, giving them the opportunity to see and play in Hong Kong, and you get just as much buzz from that. I do anyway.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the ska festival that you were hosting. It was really amazing, and the diversity, like the Japanese bands that all no, I think they were all Filipinos that all dressed up as luchaderos, this Mexican wrestlers, and drinking bottles of Tabasco on stage and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was another. That was one of the events I used to run, the Mods and Rockers, which goes back to kind of the old days in the '60s with the British subculture of the mod and fighting the rockers in Brighton. So it was a May Day thing. So we had a little event at Grappers. I mean, Los Rizlas were great. They were a
Exactly,
Tokyo
Los Rislas. Yeah.
rocket. They all played Danilo guitars, and they were really great fun. And would he down a whole bottle of Tabasco on stage
Yeah,
and
like,
still
but
play?
not
I
the
mean,
small bottle, the big
yeah.
bottle, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
And I can vouch that it was definitely chili
Real.
sauce.
Oh, really?
It was there. We had to get it for him, because part of the thing when you bring artists over, you want to make them do a good show and look after them. So I had to go out and buy a bottle of Tabasco, and so it was
But that's
definitely
better than
real.
artists who ask you for cocaine.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Other various goodies.
so the dead or alive. Anyhow, so our first song, that's actually from the ska festival at the Cube in the PMQ, band called Baghdad Cafe. How did you get across Baghdad Cafe?
Well, I think that Japan's got a really great reggae scarcity. And I used to live in Japan. I lived in Osaka, and I used to go to those kind of nights, and the bands were amazing. And I'd heard about these guys, and they were a bit. These bands are quite big, so there was about 8 people. They had 3 female lead singers, and they all dress up in the African kind of flavored clothing, but they'd never played outside Japan before, and they didn't speak English, so I had to use some kind of translation devices, and I managed. It took me about 2 years to get in touch with them and convince them to come.
Oh wow!
And it was a big, I mean, I really enjoyed their music, and it was great to have. I always tried to get, some really strong female presence on stage as well, and they really brought it, that gig. And I think after that who was on after that? Kingston, Rudy, Scar, and Neville Staple from the Specials. That year was a really good lineup, and it was and it was wonderful to see them. And then we got the chance to play with them in Osaka. So a lot of this, us bringing bands over and working with them, it becomes very reciprocal. So they came over here, and we got them over and looked after them, and then we went over to Osaka and played with them, and they were even better in their hometown.
I can imagine.
This great sound system, and they're so tight. The drummer plays really heavy, and you think of reggae drummers being really light and kind of but good reggae drummers are really loud and powerful, even more than rock drummers, sometimes. And this guy was one of those. He hit that bass drum so heavy in the snare, and that this really great songwriting and really kind of intricate textures on the stage as well as in the music you listen on the CD. So it's one of my highlights of the festival, being able to get them over.
Very cool. Well, then let's listen now to Baghdad Cafe, or they're called Baghdad Cafe, the Trench Town. And we unfortunately don't know the title of that song, but we hope you enjoyed it. And here we go.
That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That was Baghdad Cafe, the Trench Town, a recording from the Ska and Reggae Festival. Oh, was it the Reggae and Ska Festival, Paul? I always forget it. The International
It's
Reggae and Ska
I forget
Festival,
it's
right?
reggae ska.
Yeah,
Reggae
because it
ska,
was
even though it's
IRSF, right? So yeah,
something like
something like
yeah.
that.
I like festivals that says what it does. I don't like
Yeah,
it's a
Glockenflap.
reggae ska or a blues festival. Or
Just
a rock
say it,
festival,
Glockenflap. You don't like
Yeah. What's clock and flap? What is that? It's a thing. I love clock and flap. If just listening.
I'm gonna have to tell Keith you don't like Hallelujah, man.
Hallelujah's even better. Hallelujah's wonderful.
Okay.
But you have so many genres. You can't just call it one thing. You can't just call it the rock festival.
If you
don't
have
just rock,
between
you have so
between
many
the
other
bagpipes
genres.
and punk, you got a name there somewhere.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
That's it exactly.
Anyhow, what's up next,
But
John? That was your choice. The next one here.
Well, what we got up next is it's a sad week for rock and roll, man. It's probably one of the best rock drummers in our generation anyway. Charlie Watts passed away. Of course, he was at the age of 80, and he was getting ready to go back out on tour with the Stones. He wasn't going to play the US part, but he was going to join them back in the UK. And part of what makes the Stones sound was his drumming. And because he was a jazz drummer by trade, that was his main love. And when the Stones weren't touring, he had a couple jazz bands that he would take around and he would perform with. So I picked a couple bands doing Stone songs tonight in tribute to Charlie Watts. I've seen him play many, many, many times, being a Stones fanatic, and but I've watched also over the years watched a lot of videos of him playing jazz. That was where I actually got a real appreciation for jazz, was just watching. And it's going to be interesting to see how the Stones go on without him. I know they've got Steve Jordan playing drums for him, and he's phenomenal in his own right. But it'll be different. So, but anyway, this is Atlantis Philharmonic featuring Phil on lead vocal, and we're doing "Give Me Shelter." So I hope you all enjoy this, and if you're sitting at home, raise a glass to Charlie Watts and 50 years plus of anchoring the world's greatest rock and roll band, the Rolling Stones.
And that was Atlantis Philharmonic with Gimme Shelter by the Rolling Stones. And that video was recorded by Gary, not by myself. And what's up next, Paul? I think that's one of yours.
Yeah, again, this is another band that I was really proud of to be a part of bringing over. And they're called the Scatterlights. And this band are originally from the early 60s. I mean, we're looking at the Stones there and longevity. I think, well, you would say late 50s, even the Scatterlights. You would say longevity definitely applies to these guys. And they created the sound of ska in Jamaica. They took Calypso Menta. They were playing in kind of jazz bands in hotels, and then they started to play off the beat instead of on the beat with the guitar, and it made it sound like the scat, and that's where the name of the music came from. And they created that rhythm and that feel that eventually became rocksteady, became reggae. So without the Scatterlights, you wouldn't have reggae. You wouldn't have Bob Marley. Bob Marley he originally played ska in his first band with the Wailers. So the Scatterlights, I mean, a lot of them unfortunately passed away. I mean, they were playing. They actually, they did okay in their own time. Then there was a big resurgence, and they got back together and toured extensively, released albums, and they slowly, they were quite old. They passed away, and so they kind of got new people in to replace them, and that kind of kept going. So the Scatterlights that we see now, the original members are all gone. There's only a couple left, and they don't play that often. But at this gig, actually, there was Doreen Schaefer, who was one of the original singers in the Scatterlights, and she came to Hong Kong, and we went to the North Point Market, and she was 81, 82. So amazing woman to be still touring. I mean, we're staying in small hotels, and it was just wonderful to see these originators of the sound in a second kind of generation, and it was great to see them in Hong Kong on a great stage. And a great video as well, Oliver.
Okay, well, let's check it out. And that was the Scatterlights live in Hong Kong at the former Youth Hangout. And what's up next? We have another Rolling Stones tribute, John. Oh, there again. Me forgetting the second button. Damn it. I thought I would be able to get over this one day.
Oh, thank you. We just found out that, see, I told you, Paul, Oliver doesn't like to hit that mute button. Muted once again. See, he likes to have me as the silent guest. There
Exactly.
So anyway, here we go, man. This is Rubik Cube just rocking the house with their version of the Rolling Stones, Paint It Black.
And here we go. And this was Rubik Cube with Painted Black by the Rolling Stones. And next one we're going to hear Paul playing with the Red Stripes. Paul, tell us a little bit about that one.
Yeah, this is one from our first album, Let Me Tell You, and it's got Sarah on vocals, and it's not really ska. I think we started doing a lot of ska, and that's always undercurrent of everything, but then we kind of introduced Latin and some calypso and some different kind of styles and genres mixing up together. So I think this kind of symptomizes that start of the journey into mixing other kind of feels into the ska that we know. This is Let Me Tell You.
And here we go.
Let me tell ya.
Let me tell you.
That was the Red Stripes playing Let Me Tell You, again at the Youth Hangout in North Point somewhere, I think that was. And next up we have one of John's selection, Occupational Hazard.
Yeah, I really cheated tonight, man. I put two bands on that I play in for a change.
I thought that
Anyway,
was what
this
you had
is
to do.
no. Usually I try not to put any of my bands on, but tonight this is Occupational Hazard, which Pete Long on lead guitar, man. So so you get to see Pete, but it's slightly different because we're all playing acoustics. Jeff's on acoustic bass, Pete and I are on acoustic guitars, and Tetsuya's on drums for us on this. And this is us doing a version of Bohemian Like You by the Dandy Warhol. So if you want to hit the mute button, Oliver, and then hit the play button, we'll be ready to go.
And I hope I remember to unmute you afterwards. Otherwise, I just finish the show by myself.
Yeah.
If only we
Okay.
could do that in real life. If only we
Yeah,
could mute
exactly.
people in real life.
But you know, this is since everything is distanced now. I mean, I guess we're gonna have dinner together then in the future. You know, everybody just orders a dish home, and instead of having 6 people at dinner or so, we just sit all in front of our computer, and then we can mute whoever we don't like at the table. There's a future. Anyhow, Occupational Hazard, Bohemian Like You.
You got a great car. Yeah, what's wrong with it today? I used to have one too, maybe I'll come and have a look. I really love your hair too, yeah. I'm glad you like mine too. You see, we're looking pretty cool. Look at you. What do you do? Oh yeah, I wait tables too. Now I haven't hurt your back, 'cause you guys are pretty new. If you did, I'll treat you to food. Come over to my work, I'll have you cook me something that you really love. 'Cause I like you, I like you. I'm feeling so Bohemian like you. I like you, I like you. I feel, here we go. But who's that guy? He's hanging at your pad. He's looking pretty fucked. I bet you heard about that. But it's fair if he always pays the rent and doesn't give a fuck about sleeping on the couch when I'm there. 'Cause I like you, I like you. I'm feeling so Bohemian like you. I like you, I like you. I'm still, getting wise and I feel so Bohemian like you. If you let I want some please, just a casual, easy thing. It is for me. 'Cause I like you, I like you. Yeah, I like you, 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 I like you. And I feel, okay, maybe you know this one.
That was Occupational Hazard at the Hallelujah Fest last year with Bohemian Like You. And our next one, taking the turn again, is another selection from Paul.
Mhm.
Tell us a bit about it.
Yeah. Again, this is kind of at the festival, but I'm playing with the band with the Red Stripes, and we were backing one of the artists we brought over, who's Neville Staple, who was one of the original Specials, which is from the early 80s, mid 80s original ska band from the UK, part of the two-tone era. And their keyboard player created the idea of two-tone, and obviously you got bands like Madness, Bad Manners are selected from this starting point. And the Specials have been an influential band since the 80s, and they're huge in the UK and around the world as well. But they did Glastonbury and played with Amy Winehouse and all these, and got songs covered. But a lot of people don't realize that actually the first album by the Specials actually had a lot of cover versions on it of original ska tunes from the 60s. So they're kind of you couldn't say they're a ska revival band, even though we know them for Ghost Town and other things that Neville was on and wrote. But it was a pleasure to get him over, and he actually asked him to choose the set list. And this is a famous Special song, but it's actually originally by Dandy Livingstone in the 1960s. And it's all about the rude boys in Jamaica and sending a message to simmer down and to not cause so much violence. And it's just a classic Special song. And it was an honor to play with him and bring him to Hong Kong and enjoy the set. And his wife, Christine, on backing vocals as well. And Fred's there.
All this time to straighten right out. Really problems going high. I can't hear you. You can go louder. Pulling around. All this time is straighten right out. Didn't think of your future as you wind up in jail. Whoa, yeah. You sing I'm not. Give it. Think of your future. All this time is straighten right out. Pretty problem big time. Your turn, your turn. Let them hear you. Your message to you, Rudy. Oh. Your message to you, Rudy. Come on. To you. This is your turn, come on. Louder. Let's hear you, come on. It's a message, amazing to you. Amazing. Amazing to you, Rudy. Amazing to you, Rudy. You sing it better than me. You sing it better than me!
That was Neville Staple with the Red Stripes playing A Message to You, Rudy. And we're cranking it up a little bit now with something completely different.
That it is, man. That it is. This is another one of my favorite local Hong Kong bands, and as the old saying goes, everybody's a local band somewhere. So
Mhm.
these guys, I always enjoy their music, always put on a good show whenever I've seen them. And I know you all know Kyle, and he hangs out. And but this is Other Theories doing an original called "Brink of War."
Okay, not sure why the video froze here, but it's done anyhow. And yeah, normally the video switches automatically back to the background logo, but this one didn't. And anyhow, we're done with that one. And next
I wanted to
up,
see if you were paying attention.
exactly. It's my computer my computer pranking me now. Anyhow, what's up next? Next, we see Paul again in live action together with Ziad and Phil. Tell us a bit about that song,
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah. So I didn't realize it'd be so much me playing. I know we've had a couple of John songs, and we should have chosen other people's. But anyway, yeah, this is another project I'm really proud to be a part of, and this is the Sideburns, which is basically, I've known Ziad a long time, and I've always thought his songwriting, especially in his performance, was kind of amazing. And we were friends before getting into music, and then he was free and I was free, so we started to play together. And then we met Phil, who was playing drums. He's a guitar. We know him as a guitarist, but he's a fantastic drummer. And we played together for about 5-6 years as the Sideburns, and that's, you would say it's rock and roll. I think it's got that rockabilly edge to it and that kind of classic sound of that and the style in some way. But I think there's also a lot of other genres. And I think one of my great loves about music is that mashing up genres. My favorite band of all time are probably The Clash. And that got me into reggae and ska. And I think the Sideburns have often been kind of synonymous with that. And we've often tried to push another style. So there's, straight rock, some classic, what you would call classic rock. There's bossa nova, blues. Again, it's all a kind of a mashup of styles, bit of kind of folk music, Celtic influences, and I think this is different. Because you see the Sideburns is kind of rocking out. This is from the last album we did, which we did on vinyl, and it's called Freak Out 509. The album's called that, and we spent about 3 years recording this. And Phil, who was producing it, just wasn't happy with the original recording. So we had to go back and redo it. And we came out really, really well, actually. And the recording different studios, but all the songs fit together. And when we put the record on the vinyl, Phil was just lit up. And Ziad, they'd never had their music on vinyl before. And they just lit up. And it was just fantastic to hear that. And the album sounds great. And this is, I actually had a rehearsal with Ziad yesterday, and I asked, what do you want to, I don't know what song to put on. There's so many from the Sideburns that you've recorded. And he said, Lungs and Liver was a great one we did. I think one of the H2s. So it's from there. And this is, again, a bit of a Celtic one. And the lyrics are kind of obviously self-explanatory about having a beer and a smoke and kind of, if you could see ourselves inside. And great lyrics, great songwriting. Phil, fantastic drummer. And I'm trying to keep up on bass. Wow. This is Lungs and Liver.
Well, it is another day, but I'm doing okay. Tomorrow is another day, and it's on Tuesday. It's all that's why I really so down. I smoke a lucky shot, so fuck my life. It's been a while since I've been on the day.
classic Wanch night with the mosquitoes in the front line in the audience and the sideburns playing at the Hallelujah Festival. You wouldn't want to have it any other way. And staying in the mood of the classic Wanch night, we've got the Sleeves coming up next. I think, John, you picked that one.
That's right. Yeah, we got the Sleeves coming up, and this is them doing an original song called Rumble. And yeah, we hadn't had the Sleeves on in a while, and I thought, I was looking at set song lists, and I thought, yeah, why not? Let's stick them in tonight and see how it, and plug their music a bit. They've got some shows, I believe, coming up in September, and
Yep.
as soon as I get those dates, I'll let you all know about those. So anyway, without any further ado, this is the Sleeves performing their song Rumble.
Okay, that was the Sleeves with their original song Rumble. And we've got one of Paul's imports coming next.
Paul's Imports. I like that. I should start a new business. Paul's Imports.
Paul's Emporium.
I don't know what I would import, right? So,
Music, obviously, music.
well, it's been really hard to choose because I've completely forgotten how many times that you've been in, recorded a show I've played in, or recorded a show that I've helped to promote or produce. So I was reading the list and I was kind of taking it. There's loads of others I could have chosen, and in some way this is from the Jam, who, if you remember the Jam, they were another great band from the UK in the 80s, punk band, and we do classic songs. Paul Weller was obviously the main songwriter, but Bruce Foxton was he wrote some of the stuff as well. He was a great bass player, and they broke up, and then he did the Star Council solo. But Bruce Foxton kept the Jam going and under a name from the Jam, and he's had other guest musicians. And these guys are one of the tightest bands I've ever seen live, and they're huge in the UK. They kind of get thousands of venues, and people love the Jam, and this is as close as you get to seeing the Jam. They've got a guy who just sounds like Weller, and they came over to Hong Kong, and the show was packed. And I've never seen a band so tight. I had to watch on the stage next to them, so you may see my face pop up in this, just watching them in case anything goes wrong, because it was a small venue. Normally they used to play in big venues and big entourages and big productions, and this was a lot smaller scale. It was at I think TTN it's gone now, but they're going to reopen it, I think, where is it now? I can't remember.
That was near Leeuwen Mun was it? Yeah.
Yes. Great sound, fantastic band, and again, very, very, very tight. And this is one of the classics from the Jam's first album, which is Going Underground. I'm sure you know this one, John.
Oh, yeah.
from the jam at the former venue of This Town Needs, somewhere near Leeuwen, playing the original Going Underground. And we have a special coming up.
Yes, this is a feature video tonight. This is kind of a blast from the past because these guys left Hong Kong a while ago. They're living in New Zealand. They've got 2 children now, and they're still making great music. And it just so happened that we got in contact with each other the other day, Christian and I. And so I wanted to do I wanted to show a video of the Bolins tonight, man. So, because they used to just pack the Wanch. They packed everywhere they played. They just, it was really great to watch them start out as just Joyce and Christian, and then they added Koya on bass, they had drums, and just took all their stuff to another level. And it was just great to watch them perform. So this is the Bolins doing an original called Bad Nights. And this is actually the official music video for this song. So I hope you all enjoy this, man. I really enjoyed it when I watched it the other day before I put it on my list. After talking to Christian, he goes, "Oh yeah, man, put one of our videos on, be great." And Christian and Joyce say hi to everybody in Hong Kong, man, and they're thinking about you all the time, all the way from New Zealand.
I had the wrong night, I got a wrong
that was the Bollens, former regular at the Wanch, with the original Bad Nights and a beautiful music video. And if we're looking at what's happening this weekend, well, first of all, at Peel Fresco, you have some jazz with a very talented Talia Monin singing. And tomorrow they have Ghosts on the second floor. And Rio has their usual Friday and Saturday gigs with Friday Leveling Out and The Tokens. And on Saturday, Repeat Offenders and Mary Jane and the Gang. Then when we go to Rule Alive, they have Supernaut tonight. That's going to be great. Tomorrow night. And on Saturday, they have The Octopus and Rockstars Anonymous. Some really solid rock music there. And if we're looking at the Aftermath, they have tonight, they have Open Jam, Open Mic Jam. And that's always great. Always some really big bands down there. And tomorrow they have Jimmy Two Times and Triple Threat, which is always a good party as well. And then on Saturday, they're going to have a great list up, the David Bowie Knives and Well Said, Streets of Rage and Lip Servants. And that's it from us tonight. Thanks, Paul, for being with us and showing off your great contribution to the Hong Kong music scene.
It's been an absolute
thanks
pleasure.
for taking time out tonight, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure to see you, John, and to see you, Oliver. And I've got all these great memories. And let's hope we can make new ones soon.
Definitely.
Yes, I am with you on that.
Very cool.
I'm totally with you on that. I'm so looking forward to coming down and rocking with you all once again, man. Soon.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll get my jam chops up. So I'm going to be jamming this time, John. I won't be scared again. I'll do it.
Go for it.
There we go.
Go for it,
You
Paul.
did a great job. Did a great job last time, man. It was good fun.
I'm such a perfectionist. I don't want any bum notes, and I jamming.
I know, but that's
certain skill.
But that's why they call it live music, man. If you want it perfect, go home and put the CD on, man.
Exactly.
I mean,
okay. Very good, everybody.
If David. Oh,
thank you, Oliver.
No, cut us off.
No, not yet. But anyhow, we need to close. Thank you very much, everybody. And we'll be back next week with episode number 24 and another mystery guest and more great music. So
thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye.